I gave you a script for the database that we're going to work on. So please run it in MySQL Workbench.
Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
We have to turn on the camera.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Just run the script that I gave you.
Okay, Professor.
Okay, while you run it, what we're going to work on is the same thing we did with the world uh, project. Is just this is going to be more focused on Internet of Things. Remember, eventually, oh, I'm not sure about you guys. Let me check. Hold on. Give me a second. This is your plan. You guys are this one here. Hmm. Okay, guess you guys won't. You guys are. This is video games and stuff like that. Okay, anyway, never mind this. Well, even though you're not gonna do see Internet of Things, you are gonna do Internet of Things here. Okay. Now you guys already have. I'm assuming that you enter the contest, the project contest, right? You know, Dick. You guys can answer, right?
The tutor told us about it.
Okay. Well, for this class, you're gonna have to do a project, and your project is gonna be based a lot on on Internet of Things. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term Internet of Things.
Internet of
Yes.
Things.
Okay, everybody? So for instance,
I have heard about it, but not really. I don't really know, Professor.
so for instance, Internet of Things means that, let's see like this, this one here. Means that every device inside a, well, not necessarily inside, but every device is interconnected through the internet. Not only computers and smartphones and stuff like that, but everything. You've seen probably smart refrigerators that tell you when your food goes bad or when you don't have something. But also imagine on a home, you have climate control, security, you have energy consumption, meaning that if you're spending a lot of money in energy or not, or you're saving energy, and even the blinds, the blinds in the windows can open and close according to a light sensor. So if it's the sun is hitting the window, the blinds close, but if the sun is not hitting the window, then the blinds are open. So you see guys going into their homes and saying maybe voice activated Alexa, and Alexa turn on the lights or something like that. So all those little devices have to be interconnected. So that's for a home, but you can do it for a garden, you can do it for a city, you can do it for a manufacturing plant, a hospital, for everything. So everything is interconnected. Okay, so for instance, this is a smart home, and it has video cameras, has temperature sensors, has blinds, like I told you. It has access control. The washing machine is telling you what's going on. The stereo or the this looks like a computer or a home entertainment system. The refrigerator is sending you information. So everything is interconnected. Okay. So what we're going to do is work a little bit on that, and you have to do a project with that, something like this. Remember, we already worked on a little bit on the layout. So you can do something, a layout. It doesn't have to be a house. It can be an office. It could be a hospital. It could be a school. It could be a garden. It could be different things. Okay. So for instance, smart garden. Let's see. It's not like the dashboard, maybe. Not very pretty. Let's do it like, that one's not bad. Well, that's not a garden. That's like a, well, something like this. Okay, this part here in the middle, or something like this. This is not a garden. It's bigger, but things like that. So what we're gonna do now, what we're gonna start working on, is certain sensors. We're only gonna work on certain types of sensors. Obviously, we're not gonna actually build the sensors. Everything is gonna be simulated. So the data, the temperature, well, in this case, the only one we're gonna use from here is the temperature, but we're also gonna have humidity and wind and stuff like that. So that the information that you're gonna be receiving from the temperature, from the sensors, is going to be simulated. So no hardware, no sensors, nothing like that. Just software, a little application that's going to be sending temperature readings or wind readings or humidity readings to your device. Okay, well, not to the device, to the application. So don't worry about the hardware. It's going to be all by software. Okay. So let's see if I can find another one that's well, this one has temperature and basically that. This one has humidity, I guess, light, temperature. So we'll do something like this, okay? And you're gonna do a little design. So we're gonna start working on that. I'm gonna give you a lot of what you're going to do. This one's a little bit cooler. You can do this one if you want. So what we have here in the database, I haven't given you this. This one I'll give you tomorrow, but we have these two here. So what we have is device types, and device types is going to be the sensor. It might be a sensor that takes temperature readings, or it takes humidity readings, or it takes wind or light or whatever you want. Okay. So depending on the type of sensor is the type of information you're going to send. So right now in the database that I gave you, I gave you two device types. Oh, hold on, in the same place. So I gave you two device types, temperature and humidity. These are the little icons that we're going to use from Font Awesome. So remember, hold on. So you don't have to draw them. If you want to draw them, that's fine in your layout. But if you don't want to draw them, you can use them from here eventually, some point. Well, you remember Font Awesome. There you go. So temperature. And the one I'm reusing is temperature high. So this one eventually. Oh, actually this one. What's different? I'm using this one here. Okay, for temperature. And since I don't have for humidity, I'm using this one. All the ones for water are like for the pro version, the paper version. So I'm using this one because everything with water. Oh, this one is, but that's not humidity or humidity. They're all, you have to pay for them. So I can't use them. Yep. But that's what they are. So you have device types and you have devices, and the devices have an ID, a name, an IP address. The IP address, you're not going to actually use it, but eventually, if you were to incorporate the actual physical devices on your project, in order to get the readings from those devices and actually send configuration to those devices to connect with them, you would need the IP address. So we're going to put them here, and of course the type. So every device is going to have a type. And well, we have three devices, inside and outside temperature, which are both temperature devices, and outside humidity, which is a humidity device or sensor, and the foreign key. Yep. So if you have that, what I want you to do is create a new project based on the world project, and you're going to have the following. You're going to have two folders. The app right now is empty. We're going to do that next week. And you're going to have the API. And the API is kind of like the world. Remember, in the world project, you have config, just make sure that in the config folder, in config.json, you change the database because you're gonna have world there. So don't try to use the database world, try to use the database smart home, okay? So that's the only place you have to change it. The index right now is empty. We're gonna use it to test, but right now it's gonna be empty. And you're gonna have the class device type. And the class device type, as you can see, is very simple. You can copy one from country or state and just modify. The attributes for the device type are gonna be the same as the fields, which is gonna be ID. Where am I? It's gonna be ID, name, and icon. Well, those are gonna be the attributes, ID, name, and icon. And you're gonna have your getters and setters. So set this up. The exception, you already have it. JSON, you already have it. MySQL, you already have it. The only thing that you need is to change the database and create the device type class based on other classes that we already created. Okay? Think you can do that?
Okay, Professor.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you, let's say 5 minutes to set that up. And just to make it interesting, there you go. Just to make it fun.
Oscar, ven para acá.
Can you guys turn your mic off?
¿Agarraste esto?
Let me see. There you go.
Sorry, teacher.
Oh, okay. Now you can yell at your little brother without the mic. And since you don't have a video camera, you can hit him too. I was like, what was that noise? My computer's breaking down, but it's the timer. You guys ready? Guys,
Not yet.
come on. Come on, come on, come on.
Yep.
Okay, so the constructor is gonna be very simple, the same as the country. You're gonna create these three, an empty constructor, an empty object, and the one that receives the arguments from the values. And the other one is gonna be, just a query to the device type table. We've already done this. So this one's actually simpler because we don't have another class like the capital of the country that made it a little bit harder. So this one's very simple. You're just gonna do a query that gets the ID, the name, and the icon from device type. And remember, 3 fields, 3 columns, 3 variables. Okay. First one goes to the first one, second one, third one, third one. And remember that if we have a parameter, well, you have to give it a value. This case is the argument that we receive. Just so you understand, let's see. This one goes here. This one goes, This one goes here. This one goes here. And this one goes eventually there. So remember that part. Got it?
Got it.
Okay, so we have the constructor. With all three different let's say methods. Create a new one. Create one with data from the database, and create the one with data from the arguments. So if we have this one, let's test it. Remember, if we can't find the device type, we're gonna just return an exception. By the way, before we test this, hold on. We have to create the toJSON method, but it's very, very simple. Just the ID, name, and icon. Got it?
Got it.
I got it.
So now we're gonna test it. So we're gonna go to index. Remember, first we have to require the files. So in this case, we have to use the file which is in the model folder called device type. And remember, get one. So in this case, we have to make sure that if we receive the parameter ID, if it's set, then first I will do this. If we receive it, then we're gonna get 1. We've already done this. If not, we're gonna get, oh. So here in get 1, remember, we're gonna try, and we're gonna have a catch. If we can't find it, and we're gonna display an error message. Now remember, the status 0 means that everything was right, was correct. Okay? The status non-zero, whatever else that is not a 0, means that there is an error message. So right now the status, let's say if record not found is gonna be 998. I'm gonna leave 999 for missing parameters. So I'm gonna do that, and error message is gonna be whatever the message, the error gave me. Okay. Whatever the exception returns. Then I'm gonna try to create the object. Again, I'm going a little bit faster because we've already done this. Okay, so device type equals new device type. I'm gonna send the ID that I received. And try to display. Again, status. The status is important because from the front end, when we read the result, we want to know if we receive the correct result, so we can read then device type, or if we have to read the error message. So the first thing we're going to do in the front end is read the status. So again, we've already done this. So I'm going to put it down here. It's not going to be enough. So I'm going to change it to smart home slash index dot, actually API slash index.php ID equals, well, the ID's down here. So first I'm going to send an ID that doesn't exist. So I'm going to send ABC. Okay. Web 2020 smart, forgot the R. Okay, so could not find ABC because it doesn't exist. So I get the error message 998. But if I send, for instance, PMP, which is temperature, I should be able to find it. Okay, so there it is. Something's missing down here. Kind of strange, but there it is. Okay, so make sure you have that. Got it?
Got it.
No, you.
Sorry, I forgot to click admit, so you were all waiting. Okay, so let me know when it works, okay? Got it?
Got it.
Okay, so that works. Now what we're gonna do is the get all, the list of all the device types. So that one, again, we've already done it. This one's simpler because there are no other objects, no other classes. So again, you're just gonna get the ID, name, and icon, and just add them to the list. So it's gonna be very, very simple. Okay? So it's simpler than the last one we did. Remember that this one is the same. Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Got it.
Okay, so let's test it. So we're gonna go back to index. And here in the get all, what we're gonna do, basically just display it. And the same thing, we're just gonna do the status 0, 0, and device types is gonna be, we're gonna go get from the device type class. Remember, this is a static function. So we have to use double colons. And we're gonna get this one. Get all to JSON. Okay, but since that is it returns them as JSON, we need to decode them again. Okay, so the way we test this is if we send the ID, we get 1. If we don't send the ID, just unclick it. We're not sending the ID. Okay. If we don't send them, then we should get a list of an error. Let me see, get all JSON. Okay. It's right there. Static function. Did I put the incorrect device type? What? Define class constant get all to JSON. What? What? What am I missing here?
Maybe the capital letter of the device type.
But it is capital, it's the name of the class. Device
Oh,
type.
this-
See, the class is capital. Okay, device type. So in order to get this method, it has to be undefined, but I just copied it. Oh, forgot to put it as a method. I copied only the name, not the method. So anyway, if I send it, I should get all list of all the device types. Okay, so let me know if that works.
Got it.
Okay, how about the rest of you?
Got it soon.
Everybody has it?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna do the insert. We're gonna add a new device type. So as you can see from the database, the command to add a new device type would be this one. And then not this one here. So the method to add a device, a record, a row is actually easier than to read them. So I have it right here. It's gonna be this one. As you can see, we don't call it a query because it's not a query. Query is just to read the values. This one is to modify the database. So we have to insert into the device type The only difference is that in this case, have 3 arguments. So this value goes to this argument, to this parameter. So the ID of the object goes to the ID of the device type. This one goes here, and this one goes here. And of course, well, this one is this one. This one is this one. And this one is this one. And the only thing that you have to check is that we have three, because there are 3 strings. This one means that the first parameter is a string. This one means that the second parameter is a string, and this one means that the third parameter is a string. So we have 3. We have 3. We have 3, 3, and 3. Okay, so make sure that those match. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, so now to add the, let me just clear this up. To add a new device type, we actually have to the request has to be a post, not a get. Get is to read data. We have to post data, okay? So here in the index, we're gonna test this, and we're gonna actually have the methods. So we're gonna have a get, And we're gonna do if, and we're gonna use the server constant, variable actually, not constant. If request method equals get, then this is what we're gonna do. All of this. Okay, but this we already done, so I'm gonna collapse it. And we're gonna go work with post. So we're gonna say post if we request method is a post. Then we're gonna do this. So we just for now, we're gonna display post. So if we do the get, no problem, we get it. If we do post, then we're in this part. So that's the way APIs work. It depends on the method that you're sending, a get, a post, or all of these. Well, we're just gonna use get and post this class. Okay. Now the first thing we need to do is check that we receive the parameters. We need to send the ID, the name, and the icon. So we have to check them. But those parameters are going to be received as post, not as get. And I like to put them like this so it's easier to understand. Ah. Because eventually you're going to receive like 20 of them. So you need to make sure that you get them all. So I need to make sure that I get ID, that I get name, and that I get icon. If not, then I'm going to send an error message. And I'm going to use the status 999 for when I don't receive the correct parameters. Of course, right now, if I send it, I'm going to get the error message because, well, I don't have, I'm not sending the parameters. Got it? So the way we're gonna send the parameters is gonna be not in params, it's gonna be over here in body. Okay, so body, and then we're gonna go to form data. So body, form data, and then we're gonna add we're gonna send the parameters. So we're gonna send ID. We already have temperature and humidity, so we're gonna add wind, name, wind, and the icon is also wind. I already checked it. So this way, we send it, we don't get the error message again because we sent the correct parameters, but we're not displaying anything yet. Okay, so make sure that you have post, body, form data. Write it down. That's the way you're going to send the data, the information.
Professor,
Yeah.
the first things that we wrote is now inside the get, right?
The which one? This one? No, this one's separate. We got the get, and the post is completely separate from get.
But I mean the first things that we wrote,
Yeah.
like
The first are, remember, they're collapsed. They're here. We already
well, I
did
know.
this. We already tested this, so we collapsed it to only see the code that we're working on.
Yeah, it's just that I thought that you erased it, but
No.
thanks for that.
Don't erase it. Just put it there. Okay, so just remember where we put the post parameters. It has to be a post in body, form data, and then you put the parameters. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna create an empty object. So we're gonna call it D, new device type. We're gonna be empty. And then we're gonna assign the values. One thing I forgot to mention is here in the add method, this method returns the result. If the statement was able to be executed, it's gonna return true. If not, it's gonna return false. Okay, so we're gonna check that. So this one returns the method. So we're gonna assign the values, set through the setters. And then we're gonna add just execute the app. So again, if D, we execute the method add, if it's able to return, then we're going to display the status. Again, status 0 means that everything is good. So it's just going to be a message. It's not going to be an error message. And it's going to be device type added successfully. If not, then I'm going to do another error. But again, change the status because the status tells us something. So this one's going to be 998. And it's going to be could not add device type. Okay, so I'm going to try to add it. Let's see what happens. Hold on. Okay, everybody back? Sorry, I had a phone call. Okay, so we're gonna try to send the request, and we should get the device was added successfully. Now, how do we test this? Well, you can go back to change the post, the request method to get, and since I'm not sending a parameter, then I should be able to get all of them. Okay, there you go. Took a while. So there is the wind device type. Okay, I can also send wind, and there it is. If I try to send it again, if I try to add it again, I'm gonna get an error message that I cannot add the device. I have the O is wrong because, well, the primary key. Okay. Could not add device. Okay, so yeah, you have to make sure that everything works. Let me know if it worked for you. Did it work? Guys, did it work?
Yes.
Okay, any questions at this point? So now you're able to add and read. Basically, an API, the simplest API, you need to send the request method. If it's a get, then you have two actions, get one and get all. And if it's a post, then you add. Then you get to put, which is to modify, delete to delete a record. And then you have several actions that are a little bit more complex. But the simplest one is this one, okay? Now what we're gonna do is, this is the device type class. We're gonna do the device class, which is gonna be a little bit more complex because it's gonna include the device type itself. So I'm gonna cheat because I already have it. But I'm just gonna explain to you what we're doing here. So the device class, as you can see, is, don't use this one yet. Whatever I put in, well, never mind, put it like this. Not this one, not this one. Okay, there you go. Okay, so again, you're gonna have 4 attributes: ID, name, IP address, and type. Getters and setters are the same. Okay, so do that part and let me know when you're finished so I can scroll down. This part is very simple. The only difference is, remember, the type is actually device type. So you have to construct it, you have to build the object. And remember, you have to use that file. But other than that, it's the same thing. Okay, you ready? So the constructor, like I said, the first one is very simple. Just remember the ID type. The type is actually a device type. That is the only difference, the only thing special here. And so I'm going to collapse this. And the constructor is basically the same as the other one, just need to do a little, need to check the queries a little bit more complex. And as you can see, the type is new device type, but we already done this with the country. So you're just rehashing what we've already seen. And the last one, well, is just the 4 values. Got it?
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, so the DAS constructor is just this part. And right now we're gonna do the to JSON method, just this part. And remember, since the type is also a device type, you have to use the to JSON method from the device type class. Got it?
Yes.
Got it.
Okay, so, and also this one here, to get all method, same thing like we did the other one. Got it?
Got it, Professor.
Okay, so once you have this, again, you can just basically take this one. Hold on, let me see the chat. Okay, so basically change this one to device. Just don't do the add part because we haven't done it yet. So don't do this one. Just stick to get and just change to device and device and devices. Device. And okay, so again, only get, no ID. So we have the devices, we only have 3 of them. As you can see, we have the outside humidity, address, ID, the name, ID name, IP address, and the type. Okay. And if I send an ID, for instance, OT, if I send this one that doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. OT, then I get that one. Okay. So make sure that works. You have 6 minutes. No more links today. Just finish that part. Tomorrow we'll finish the rest.
Okay, Professor.
Let me just take attendance here. So hold on. Okay, let's see Aguilera,
Present.
Alvarado,
Present.
Barcaza,
Here.
Bartolo, not here. Baptist,
Present.
Burgos,
Here.
Cáceres,
Present.
Cross,
Present.
Cross.
Present.
Okay. Are you awake?
Yes.
Tony, Square,
Present.
Flowers, Warrior,
Present.
Garcia, Lion,
Here.
Crane,
Present.
Gonzalez, Camacho,
Present.
Gonzalez, War,
Present.
okay. Lezama, Daira, not here. Luego,
Here.
okay. Marcus, Redberry's gone, right? Morales,
Present.
Ortega,
Here.
Patiño, Patiño is in the chat.
In the chat.
Yes.
Okay. Ramirez,
Here.
Ramirez Square,
Present.
Kings,
Here.
Rodriguez,
Present.
Roman,
Present.
Salazar,
Present.
Sanchez, Sanchez Flores, Soto, I'm not gonna translate your second name, second last name. Soto, Uribe, Vargas, Velarde,
Present.
Velázquez,
Present.
Victoriano. Okay. Okay, did it work? Yes, no, okay.
Yes.
Well, see you guys tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, Professor.
Okay.
See you, professor.
Bye.